Good evening, everyone. Before we start today's session, please feel free to do event check-in. This will give you access to additional resources and information about events that we are running on Reactor, which are around similar topics to today's session. I will share the QR code in the Q&A section shortly. Also, we have launched our Reactor group on LinkedIn. Please feel free to join the group to get the latest update on session happening on Reactor. I will share the joining link soon. Thank you all once again for joining us today. My name is Rashmita and I'm the event planner for Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru, India. This session will run over the next 120 minutes including Q&A. The session is being recorded and will be uploaded to our Reactor YouTube channel within 3 to 4 days. I will share the link to our YouTube channel in the chat section soon. Quick word on a code of conduct. We display this at all Microsoft Reactor events that we run and is just a reminder to be aware of others. Key thing to take out here is to be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat will be open throughout and we do encourage you all to participate. Also, please keep your mics muted during the session. I would now like to welcome Vivek, our speaker for today's session. Vivek is a tech enthusiast and an open source contributor with around 15 years of experience in the software industry. He works at Microsoft as Senior Cloud Advocate. But for now, I will hand over to Vivek to begin the session. Over to you, Vivek.
Yeah, thanks, Ashmita, for the introduction. So let me share my screen. So apologies for not coming on camera today because I have cold. So just give me benefit today. Just a minute. Let me share my screen. You can see my screen.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So, you know, firstly, I want to welcome everyone for this session. This session is specifically we designed it for future ready talent students uh, from a from the program perspective. Obviously, the program is about you're not only learning cloud but also you're building a project and you're submitting it and you're getting into the job fair and other things which we have enabled. So if people or students who have joined in for the first time and does not know about this program, uh, please go to this link. I have shared this link in the chat, but I'll also share it again. This is a link where you can go and register yourself. This is a second batch which we are doing. There is already a first batch which has gone through, and there is a second batch. So please do sign up, register, however possible. How does it work? You can already see this. It's basically you learning about Azure and lot of doing a lot of things with Azure services and build a program or build a project. In fact, so once you build the project, once you have submitted the project, once it has gone through the evaluation process, you get internship credits and you will be able to get into the job fair, which is career fair, which is there. And interestingly, it's a very interesting program. Can everybody go on mute, please? Yes, this is there is a good question there in the chat. Is this for students? Yes, this is for students. Uh, by the way, this learning hours is not just designed for students. Anybody can attend, but this particular future ready talent is for students who will be graduating like within 2 years or 1 year, or who might be graduating in last next 6 months or something. So that's the program is all about. So um, is it? I'm not sure if it is job seeking professionals also. Yes, I just see that. I remember they're talking about, yes, whoever is just graduated this year may also can apply for this. Yes, that have discussed previously. So today's session is more about, and we have obviously designed specific sessions for completing the project. The first session is obviously today, which is the Azure fundamentals. So you need to understand Azure if you have to go back out there and drive the projects and build the project and submit the project. And we have a couple of other sessions which we have planned specifically on Azure functions, because these are the things which you're going to use. Today, I'm anyways going to cover app services. I'm going to cover the different set of things like container instances, Kubernetes as a service if you plan to use. And then we have amazing session from Ambrish on 23rd and 30th, specifically on data science and building a project, building AI, and it's very interesting set of problem he's going to solve live. So do attend that session as well. And in December, we have Power Apps integrations with Azure and also Power App, and also we have GitHub tool sets sessions which is coming in as well. So that's something which I'll be listing out here so that you can follow it and you can complete it. Um, I see there is a question again, Pankaj from Pankaj. If we complete all the modules in internship and get all the certification, can we able to get a job? Already got to. No, it's not about completing certifications there. It's about completing the project. So there is a project which you need to submit. So that is something is the most important thing. So just you know go back and see what you need to do in terms of completing that and get into that. It's also an opportunity to get into the job fair. It's not like you're going to get a job just by completing those things. It's an opportunity to go and be part of that after completing the internship program. You get you get an edge to get into the career fair program where you get access to a lot of companies which is out there. So don't worry too much about it. Focus on building the projects. That will be the final goal of this particular program, right? So let me go back to the today's main goal, which is Azure fundamentals. We have all here to learn about Azure fundamentals. So let me go. If you go and click on this particular link which I have, which is this one on my GitHub repo. I'll share this GitHub repo right away so that you can go back and look into it. So this, if you click on this link, you will reach into this fundamental part one, where all the documentation of all the things which is required for you to understand Azure end to end is available. Okay, there is a six-part series. It's a 9 hours learning path, 9 to 10 hours of learning path. It has complete understanding of Azure. I'll try and cover bits and pieces. Obviously, I cannot cover all 9 hours. There are a lot more things. I've covered bits and pieces in other sessions which I have done, and I will give you the directions where you can go and learn the other services which have been using, right? So that's one. And this is the six-part series, so you should be completing all the six-part series which is being provided within this GitHub repo which I showed you, so that you can go back and um, claim credits as well. So to start with, to understand cloud in a better way, uh, for every new person who is trying to get into the cloud or understand cloud, you need to understand the cloud models which is available as of today, right? And this is very basic and everybody knows about it. I just want to reiterate there are three different types of cloud models. One is public cloud, one is private cloud, and they are hybrid cloud. Private cloud is where everything you're keeping within your data center, where there is no access from the external people, but it is within your premises, and you're creating a cloud out of it, and your employees are able to spin up servers and use those servers and delete those servers, but it's only from your specific data centers, managed by you, managed by your team. So there is public cloud, which is like Azure, cloud service providers, which is Microsoft. It's basically services are provided over an internet, and you can spin up compute resources through internet, right? So that's the public cloud. And there is hybrid cloud, which is a combination of this. A couple of things you want to keep it in private cloud, couple of services you want it in public cloud. A classic example is your database. You want to keep it in private cloud. You want to make sure that your data is secure, and you want to keep those data within your private cloud, and you are connecting through VPN and through various other services to the public cloud, and you're building different services on top of that using this data. You're building some new set of tools in a public cloud, and so you're making use of both the capabilities while you build it. So this is how the cloud is structured, and obviously the cloud has a lot of scores. I mean, Azure as a public cloud has a lot of services. It has more than 140 services, lots to learn. So you can pick and choose a lot of things. It's a buffet of services. So you can't consume everything. So you need to understand each and every services, why it is there, why it is required, and other things, and how to use it. So from a discussion perspective, I'm just keeping in mind that um, 90% of you are for the future ready program who have joined this this specific session, and you are focusing on building a project. And while you build a project, what are those things you require to understand from a Azure perspective is what I'm covering today. Don't think that I'll cover everything which is required for certification. Certification is 9 hours of learning, which I showed you from the link previously, which is there on my GitHub repo. That exactly is what you have to complete and go back and take exam. Then only you'll be able to clear the certification exam. But I'm not covering all of those. I'm covering core services. These are core compute services, because while you build the project, you're going to package it and you're going to release it in Azure, and that's how you're going to showcase your projects and other things. So this is there are I'm going to cover a couple of these services. Virtual machine is pretty simple, so I don't want to cover that. But rest of the other things which is there, we will try and cover those kind of services. But I'm not covering the function service. The only reason today is because we are doing 16th, we are doing a hands-on workshop on serverless on Azure Functions, where Vishwanath is going to try and do that 1 hour session specifically for serverless and functions, and also the AI service and data science services, which is also very important when you're building a project. That's something which we are doing on 23rd and 30th, right? So let me go back. So how does Azure Resource all fits in? So there was a question before when we started the discussion. Uh, you know, um there was a question from one of the participants was, how do I manage my cost? If I had created the resource, I have deleted the resource, but still I'm being billed. So this is where I'll try to walk you through how Azure is structured, and how you can use everything, and how to terminate everything, so that you are not you are not built um, the way the person is getting built, right? So you're safe, right? So that is something which is very important. As a student, you need to understand this. um, so in Azure, everything you create is called as a resource, and it's the smallest unit. Whatever you create, for example, you create a virtual box, it's a resource. You create Container instance, it's a resource. You create a Azure function, it's a resource. App service is a resource. Kubernetes is a service. It's called as a resource. And while you create the resource, always resource is associated to a resource group. So it's basically a logical grouping of the resource. So you're grouping all the resources you create under a resource group. Why do you need it? It's very simple. I want to make sure that um, a developer environment, QA environments, and production environments have different resource groups, and each of these have different resources associated to them, so that you can differentiate, you can apply some policies on different set of groups. Instead of just resources, you can apply policies on groups, right? So that's the main reason why this has been structured in this way. And similarly, there is Azure subscription, which is again, um, the subscription is basically a logical grouping, which is grouping the resource groups. So it's kind of an inception. Don't get uh, you know overwhelmed by the way it is being structured. It's basically a structure which you should just understand that it's a subscription is the high level. There is resource group and there is resources, and all these things is working with something called as Azure Resource Manager, which is a REST API. So it's basically an API endpoint which is available, and everything is sitting there from a execution perspective. And you can see there are three different ways you can access these Azure Resource Managers. So there is a PowerShell, there is a Azure Portal, and CLI. Some of these things we are going to anyways go back and see how exactly these structured ways we can definitely make use of, and basically whenever you pass on the command, how these things get executed. It goes until the resources. So for an example I have to give you is this. There is a restful endpoint, and there is Azure portal. In Azure portal you go back there and click on create a container instance or create a uh, Kubernetes as a service. And once you do that, it sends information to Azure Resource Manager through REST API. Azure Resource Manager does not do everything. There is resource providers. For each of the resources, there is a provider which is associated to it, and each of these providers get access to it, and then the resource gets created according to the structure which you have created: the subscription, resource group, and resources, right? So that is how exactly it works. And now coming to the next level is that there is Azure Active Directory, and there is different tenants. So these tenants are very much important from having a tenant specific, so that you can get a you know you have to be validated, right? When you send some information back, you need to be validated. So you are getting validated there from a user authentication is happening through Azure Active Directory. And you are part of only couple of tenants, like possibly you are engineering team, you're part of this another team, which could be only for HRs, or it could be only for other QA teams and other things. So coming back, this is how the tenant will look like. It makes those association with Azure subscription, and then it gets executed, and then you can do the role based access control, because you want to control who have access to create the resource. So it verifies whether this person has the control over to create the resource. And there are policies which can be applied on top of this resource. If you see, there is policy as well. You can apply policies, you can resource limits. This is where you can put the limits and other things, which is very important from managing the time limit and other stuff. So given that, and obviously you can put a limit on your finance as well. So this is where you can put a finance limit saying that I will only spend this much amount this month. This is what you have to let me know once I reach this amount. And there is a, obviously you cannot go and create spin up all the resources which is available out there, right? If a person spins up more resources in a virtual boxes, it has to notify, so there is a resource limit as well. So this is how exactly the Azure is structured. So given that Azure is structured in this way, right now we will go back and create a the app service, and we will see how to do container instance, how to use container instance, container registries, and then we will see how to use Kubernetes as a service to build your projects and deploy these projects, and and then you can make use of it. So there is a question. Uh, what? Why there is no video? As in, I didn't get that. What does that mean? You mean to say my video? I'm not well, so that's the only reason why it is not there. Okay. Anyways, I'll go back to this so that we understand this whole thing, because there is a lot of things to cover as well. So given that we will go back and so I've actually created Azure App Service. Let me show you the app service, but I'll show you how to do it, and we will deploy something. Where's my app service? Okay, so this is the Azure App Service, which is already up and running. Okay, so how I have done it. So there is a simple step which I have used. Um, it's all here, so you can just clone it. I've just used a Spring Boot application. So what is a Spring Boot application? It's a Java Spring framework which is out there, and you can go back and create a Spring application and use it. So that's pretty simple to create. So that's how I've created it, and it's a basic Spring Boot application. And once you're done with the Spring Boot application, and once you um, once you just do the git. Let me show you the. Okay, so this is the code which was there. Let me open this code in my VS Code. There's my VS Code. Okay, VS Code is not there. Okay. Okay, I've opened this code here now. So this is the code which is a simple code from the Spring Boot, and all I'm doing is mapping it, and say I've added some return statement to it, and this is how you can code. So basically, I'll say greetings from Spring Boot, and welcome to reactor. Okay, so I made some code changes to it, and obviously when I do the code change to it, um, so there is I think there is a bit of confusion in terms of uh, I don't know what video audio you're talking about. Are you able to hear me? Everyone is able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is a code which
Yes,
is
sir.
which is there. Thanks for the confirmation, folks. So this is the code which is there from our specifically from our Spring Boot application. I've taken this code, and what we will do is we will obviously um, what I have done is build the code already. So I did show you this. So this is how you can build a code. So it's nothing but a plugin for Azure Web App Service. So what is a Web App Service? It's basically you creating a infrastructure. It's a PaaS layer. So when you create a Web App Service, you will create PaaS layer to it, and you're going to deploy your applications where already there is a backend of infrastructure is available to you. But it is not a serverless, because you are defining the infrastructure which you want. You're telling, I want Linux box, I want Python, this particular version of Python, and or this particular version of things on it and other things. So I will also show you how to do it um, with the portal, but as of now I'm doing it with the direct with the Spring Boot code I have, using the Java Power, which is the Maven plugin which I have. I'm building that Maven plugin. There is some execution failure. This is there we go. For the project to be executed in permanently. Please verify to invoke Maven from the correct directory. Oh yeah, I'm not invoking it from the correct directory. So sorry. I'm one. Let me do this again. So this is how I can build my Spring Boot application. So understand this. When I do the Azure Web App Service for the first time, when I'm building it for the first time, you can see that there will be a lot of questions asked around my subscription ID, questions around things I want, which is very similar to this one, where I'm answering the choices which I have, right? Application deployment, what is the app name, that is my app name. What is the resource group, this is my resource group, this is the region I want to build, this is the pricing tier, or the pricing plan I want to pick. So I'm picking the basic ones, and then it shows me what all things I have chosen for building my application, and I just have to build it. So I've already built it before. When I build it again as well, it does ask me if I need to want to change anything, and uh, if I have to want to change, I will change. Otherwise, I'll just keep it the way it has to be. And when I do that, all I need to do is to build and package and deploy it. So I just have to go back here and deploy this package. When I do the deployment of this package, it gets deployed to my cloud. So for all this, right, I need to have Azure CLI setup ready. All I need to have is all the plugins. So basically, there are a couple of Spring Boot plugins which is there, needs to be extensions needs to be installed. And since my setup is having all these things, it's already ready. I will show you the other videos which I have done, very specific, very deep dive sessions on all these Spring Boots and other things, and where you can go back and learn. Very interesting language, because if you're building microservices, if you're building microservice apps, this is where you get started, right? So let it run. While it runs, I'll show you from my portal how exactly um, is to get started with app service. So let's create one app service. Um, I'll just go to my portal and select an app service here, and I just click on app service and then create new one. And as I told you, it is always about subscription at the high level, and it is always about selecting the v-shape or whatever I've given as a resource group, which I've created for only for this demo. And you can give a name to it, say for example v-shape demo, and you can choose a code or a Docker container, uh, and select which version of the Java you're using. So I was using Java 8, and which operating system you want to build, and there is a plan, and then you would go back and deploy this, right? So you just choose a different size and use it. You want to do continuous deployment, if you enable it, it will directly connect to your GitHub repo, and you can build it with GitHub Actions directly. It creates a separate section for that, and there is monitoring and other things which you can select and just go back and create it. So It's as simple as this, and you need to upload the code and use it. So I have done direct deployment as of now through a CLI, but you through Azure portal as well, you can do this deployment and execution, right? So that is also possible. Okay, so this is how you can use app service. Let me go back whether that Spring Boot app got updated. Yes, any question?
Sir, actually, I want to ask you, after deploying the app, if we want to change code in BS code, then after how we can update that code in app service plan?
So this is how I've done. So this is I had actually deployed it before we we started the demo. So this was already there. That's what I showed. I had already deployed it. I made changes to the code. I hope it got deployed. No, there's some. It's still building it. I've skipped the. Yes, I've skipped it. It is still building it. I don't know why it is not taking. Is it something? Let me redo this. This should taking a lot of time to build after this. I don't know why, but the code should come back here. So it should be there. You can retry it if you want to. Let's go back and retry this. We'll make a directory demo. We'll go into the demo and we'll go here and take this code. Okay, we will clone this code and we will build the Maven for it. It will definitely ask, oh, did it? Okay, I was again in the invalid path. So I need to go into GSE, complete, and then we will go back here and run the code. So when you run the code, so I take my default subscription, everything. Okay, it has taken a couple of inputs. And then yes, now I have built successfully. Now once I have built successfully, let me clear this. Once I have built it, let us deploy this. The only reason why I run skip testing is because it does a testing. It takes a lot of time to test. So this is something which is test is running as of now. So I just wanted to skip the testing. Not sure why it is coming here and getting stuck because I did it like few hours back. I got it here. No, it's going on still. So let's wait for it to complete. It takes some time because it has to deploy an application there. I'm not sure. Is it my internet? So basically, it's creating all these things. It will take some time. That is the main reason why I created before the before the talk itself. I created all these setups so that we can skip these waiting time. But anyways, let's wait for it to complete. It is creating a app service plan, and then it will just complete all the things. While it completes, we can talk about the rest of the things. So it should. So this is how you do it. By the way, there was a question how we can do it. It is very simple. I've created the code, make changes to the code, and just build and deploy it. The building and deploying part of this has to be through the Java related thing. But if you are doing it with containers, it is quite different. We will anyway see the container part of it. Once you have those Docker files and other things, you can definitely do it via that as well. So that is something which we can wait on for. Okay, so it will get deployed. Anyways, let's go back here. So what I have done apart from this, for the next set of discussion, just while we wait for that Spring Boot app to come into life, you know, uh, once we can make changes and see how it gets deployed, um, I have actually created a container registry. So if you want to understand deep dive of containers, if you want to understand Kubernetes, if you want to understand GitHub Actions and other things, just go to my repo, which is there, which is uh, here. So we have covered most of the things here. It has code. This is from GitHub Actions, but not just GitHub Actions specifically, but deploying different things. So it has code, it has recordings. You can follow the recording, you can go through the code, you can also go through the references which we have made. So all the things have been added here, and also similarly for DevOps for all. This is something, a series which we are running at the Azure Happy Hours, which we do at Reactor. So this is again, we have covered all the things which is related to related to each of these. So here you can see there is Docker, specifically deep dive into Docker, deep dive into Kubernetes we did, and there is recording, and there are a couple of links for you to go back and learn, and Java on Azure as well. So if you are interested in building Spring Boot applications and other things, so we have done a couple of Spring Boot app and build and deploy of those apps as well. So you can also go through those. So everything is there on the single repo. So you can make use of that. So let me see. Yes, so it has deployed. So here is the link of the deployment, which is for the demo purpose. So let's go back here. Let's do it here itself. So if I click, so here is the code which is there, right? This is the code, and all we need to do is to change the code. So we go into source. Sorry for, okay, we can also do it that way. Let me open it from the Visual Studio itself, and then we'll work on that. Let us open the code and just go to the document, go into my code. We did create a demo folder, and under that the similar thing. So I trust it. Cool. So let us go and to the source and say greetings from Spring Boot at Reactor, and we will save it, and then we will go back and to my, okay, I'm going back to my thing, and what we will do is obviously again config. I'm just showing you how to edit the config. So it is going to show me the config. So yes, one, and then this is the app name, resource name, this is the one. I'll just change it to B1, and yes. So I'm saving the configurations. It is done. And then we just need to skip the test. I'm just skipping the test there. That is the only thing which I did. from the deployment perspective. So I just need to skip it and wait for it to complete. Yeah. So I think it was going further and then it will deploy. Perfect. So it is updating the target. You can see this message. So this is how you can do it. By the way, you just need to change the code and just build it, package it, and run the deployment uh, command, and the code gets deployed. So if you see this, it is deploying the code, the changed code which we added a new code, right? It is deploying that jar file. So pretty interesting, right? So that's how you can use pass layer for, right? It's pretty easy. You are not worried about the infrastructure. You're not worried. Obviously there is a lot of other things, other settings you can do for scaling it and other things which is there, which I'm not sure, but that is all part of your Microsoft Learn module, which is out there. So you can take a look at that. So this is something which you can do. This is how you can do it. Okay, so let me hope once it gets deployed, it changes this to take some time. So that is the main reason why I chose to not to do this way. Okay, anyways, so let's wait for it to get updated. So let's not spend too much time on that. So this is how I create web app service from the portal. This is what I'm going to do. Um, from the CLI. Now I have created a registry. So as I told you, container registries is already up and running. So what is a registry? It's basically a repository for your container images, and for beginners on containers. Uh, Containers are nothing but packaging your code, and once you package the code, you build it, you deploy it at one central location so that everybody can use it. So this is how I've done the building part of it, and we have kept it here. And some of the, obviously I've added some of the things there. So this is container registry I have created, and once I have created the container registry, I am going and is this deployed yet? Okay, it's still updating. I don't know why. Yeah, finally. Let's hope this is updated. Okay. I'm. It takes some time to refresh the code. Did I save the code? It should come up here. The code should change. Anyways, while that is happening, it takes some time to update the code there. Um, while that is happening, we will focus on container instance. So you can go back and create the container instances. Simple. While container registry has been created, you can go back here and create a container instance. So when you go and create a container instance through portal, you again, as I told you, subscription, resources, resource groups, container name, region which you need to do. Say for example, say Wikibase, and you choose the V-shape, and then something, and then Azure Container Registry. You can select the images which is there. I have two different images, uh, one for Spring Boot demo, one for Azure Count demo, and both has a lot of versions. So if I choose Azure Voting, it has a lot of versions which is part of this. So if you see, there are a lot of versions available out there. And for Spring Boot, it has only one version, so that's something which is there, and you change the size of it and you get started with it. It's very simple. So that's what I have done. So if I have to go back to this, so it has changed now. So it took some time to make those changes. So that's how you do the code changes. By the way, somebody had asked the question, so I had to repeat all the things. But this is how you make the change. The code comes to the Azure App Service, and you can keep updating it. So it's very simple. You package some project for the future ready program, and you just push it onto App Service, and it keeps updating. You can have App Service plan for free tier where you don't have to pay, so you can clearly use it for your demo purpose, building purpose, and all those things. So okay, so given that, now container instance, let's focus on container instance. So I have, you can easily create these container instance by making these setup. Obviously, you can also use it with Docker Hub and other things, and you can go back and make those changes and other things. So let me go back and show you a code. Okay, so uh, before we get started with, right? So let me show you a code which is there on my VS Code. We will open that from the VS Code. Um, Let me go here. So it's on my VS demo. Okay, this is also being created using the Spring Boot application. Okay, but here I'm creating slash message, which is a microservice. Like you create an API endpoints, right? Slash message slash something slash you want to create an endpoints for various usage, and that is the power of Spring Boot applications as well. So so I've just used this piece of code to build that. So I've you know added a couple of things to this, and I've created this. So if you want to generate similar code, right? So I'm going back to my OneNote. uh, I have too many windows open, so sorry, but I am going back to my OneNote, and there is a link called Start Spring Boot. Okay, so I'm going to this Start Spring Boot. It's very simple to find this. Anything which you want to build on Spring Boot, it's available. So you just need to choose the right set of things and name it, and use whichever jar file you're using or war file you want to use, and also add dependencies to it, and you can download this file and start using it. That's all I've done as well. It's an initializer. It's basically you go and create the initializing part of it, right? So once I download, I have this code. Obviously not everything, I have added my own code there. So I have created this code, and also I have made changes to the um, to the pom file which is there, which is part of the Java programming language, right? So I've added this VS demo as one of the parameter there. So once I have done that, I'm ready with the code to be pushed, and all I have to do is to build it as a container. So all I have to do is to create a container Docker file. So I've created a Docker file to understand all these things, how to do this, all this. Go back to my GitHub repo. In that repo, you have all the we have done deep dive sessions on specifically on container Kubernetes and everything. So you can go back there and understand it much better. But for today's discussion, it's more of creating a Docker file. We have the Docker file, we have the code, we have the rest of the things which is required for me to package this code. And this is the right way to do if you are part of taking part in the projects, building the project for the future ready talent. This is the right way to go. Build it as a package, build it as a container, and run it as a container. So all I have done is taken this and gone back and created a container image. All I have done is um, going back here, Docker images. Um, you have Docker daemon is not running. This is not good. Just before this start of the session, I rebooted my box, as it looks like everything got rebooted. My engine get started. So while engine is getting started, one more window gets added. So sorry. So let me see if it is. Okay, so now I'm back with all my images. So all I've done is to create that image. So let me go back to my code, which I had. Uh, that is VS demo. I am taking this VS demo and I have created the Docker file. Okay, so this is my Docker file. So Docker file is here. So all I need to do is to build it. So I just go here and build it. It's a simple command, Docker build with from a template, which is Dockerfile, which is out there, and Spring Boot, VS local demo, right? And version one, and I'll just create it from here, and it just creates a new uh, build image for me, right? So all I've done is I've built this, and once I have built it, I have pushed this code to the container registry which I created on Azure. So I need to create container registry to store all these images, right? So I have the images on my local system as of now. So if you see here, Docker images, all these are on my local. And if you clear, if you observe this, right, these are the things which is there on my container registry, which is on Azure. Right, this one is as of now is on local, and if you see, this is also corresponding to the Spring Boot demo which we have not made any kind of changes, right? So that's one of the way to build it. So I've built it on the local as of now. So we have built the local system, and we can go back and build this container registry. We can create a new local demo through container registry. Since this is not there on the this is not there on the registry, we need to push this. So we'll go back to my VS code, and there is a Docker, and you can see here my registry details. I have logged into Azure my account, and you can see that I can see all my registry activities here, all my available container registry. So I'll just go here, local. We have built it, local version one, and all I need to do is to push this, and I'm going to push it. Obviously, this will take a lot of time to push because it is pushing for the first time probably. It takes some bandwidth, so that is the reason why I haven't set the demo here. So when it gets pushed, it's log into my account and it pushes the code. You can use it all with the your VS Code extensions. Okay, so that's something which you can really make use of. So if you can see, it is pushing the code to this location and as version one as the tag, and it is running it. So while it is pushing, it takes time. Let's not worry about it. Let me go back to my Azure portal, which is there. We were creating it, so I'll select the one which we already had, so which is Spring Boot demo, and there was version one, and then you make use of all these things, and you provide some name, and you provide the endpoint details, and you just go and click on it, and you provide the command which you want to use, and couple of policies and other things which is there, and run it. So these are things you need to understand from the container perspective. This is nothing to do with Azure. These are all container, specifically container terminologies. So this is what it is, and you just need to review it and create it. When you do it, right, you will see that it will look like this. When we run that, it will look like this. So, okay, so this is how it is. So I've given the port external port 8080, and slash message is what we have used in the code, which is an endpoint which we wanted to create, and that is how we have done it. So this is a simple way to deploy your container instance. So you create the code, you package it with the Docker file, build a Docker file here for it, and package it as an image, and push that image to the container registry, and keep the image in the container registry. Use the Azure portal or Azure CLI to connect or build a new container instance and make use of it. And whenever you create a new one, you keep changing the code and keep building new instances and deleting the old instances. It's all the same, so it's going to be using the same things. Okay, so that's how you can use it. So this is what about container instance. Now I will come to the Kubernetes part of it. The reason why you might use Kubernetes, because you want to make sure if you're doing ML, or if you're doing building data science projects, if you're doing something with respect to building some nice projects with the use of couple of infrastructure, and for modern applications, and for building it with containers and other things, to make sure that your project
Sir,
is yes. Any question? I think somebody had a
yes, sir.
question.
Sir, actually, I want to ask that can we use just right now? You create a container. Can we add this container to the pay web, or on which platform the container we are using? For what purpose we use containers?
Yeah, so containers is basically is for packaging purpose. So if I have to tell you, right, so there is previously what used to happen is there was, you had virtual boxes, and on that virtual boxes you had libraries. For example, you have JDK 8, okay, Java JDK 8, and one of the other employee has upgraded to Java, say 11, right? There is a JDK 8, there is a 11 version of it, and he develops using 11, and his code is having couple of features which is 11, and your code is more of 8 and other things, and you want to package it in 8 and he wants to package it in 11, right? So there is two different versions of it, right? So if you want to package it in the right way, right, so you want to make sure that uh, all those dependencies which is required, you are putting it in your packaging itself. Say for example, in the code, if I have to show you, there is OpenJDK 8. So I'm putting this um in my Docker file itself. So that all these dependencies are taken care. So it's a virtualization of um, your libraries and application. There is two things. One is virtualization of hardware. This is virtualization of your applications. That is why containers are used. It's more of packaging it better. And once it is packaged, I can use this package. Anybody can use this package. Like I can use this package. Even you can now just download that image which I have. Just pull that image which I have, and you can just give a Docker run, and it will run on your system without any issues. Okay, so that is the you
So
know
yeah, as we create virtual machines, then the virtual machines we will get a DNS address, and we can forward that DNS address to other employee or other developer who's
Yes,
working on
so
the same library. Yeah.
it has its own set of things. Docker has a own set of things and other things. Uh, we have done almost like a 1.5 hour of deep dive session on it, from a not just from a Docker understanding of Docker, but we have done a session specifically on understanding the internals of Docker. So if you go to my GitHub repo, let me share that GitHub repo so that you can take a look at it, because that is the main reason we did those sessions, so that uh, everybody can understand that. Let me share that details with you. Just give me a minute. it's about dependencies. It's also about managing dependencies, packaging it, and running it as a file. Okay, so that's one of the things. So let me go back and talk about Kubernetes. So I've shared the repo for you to go and check it out. So Kubernetes, I have created a service, okay, because it will take a lot of time to create a service, Kubernetes service. So I've just created it. It's very simple. Just again, go and give in, type in all those required things, and you will be able to create it. So so this is the cluster resource groups. I know you will choose all the right set of things, and you go and do it. So that's something which we will be able to do it, right? So these are things which is already, you know we have already discussed, but it is more of deep dive sessions. These are things which you need to understand from a Kubernetes perspective, but it's very simple. You don't need to worry about it. Resource group, give name, you choose the size and number there. You don't need a node pool and other things unless and until you are building a production enabled, and rest of the things are almost default. And then you go and run it. So if you want to go and deep dive sessions on this, we will be doing a deep dive sessions on it on 27th November, specifically on Azure Kubernetes Service. So that's something which we will cover most of the things there as well. So this is cluster is already created. So I will show you how the code will look like, from a cluster perspective. So we have a code, Azure Voting App Service, which is already been built, and we already have a YAML file. So Kubernetes is a language, declarative language. Which takes in a YAML file, and it updates the code. That's something which is already there. So these are the things which you need to provide in the YAML file. From the spec perspective, you are telling the desired state you want from a Kubernetes, and it takes in the desired state and it executes the desired state, and this is the details of that. And what I have done is, I have the code. We will go back and change the code. It's very simple. It's a Docker, it's container. So Dockerfile, we did discuss about Dockerfile. And then there is Azure voting app, and there is config. I've just given an IPL and T20 and other things. From a voting perspective, which one do you think we should have concentrated on? So that's something which I've given, a very simple question there. And this voting app is up and running. So very interestingly, I've used GitHub Actions to deploy this code to Kubernetes. So I have a Kubernetes now. So we can change the oath. Basically, if you want to go back here, and if you want to change the oath, you can change the oath. And you can make a you know run this workflow. So workflow perspective, don't worry about it. It's good to have. So if you're building a project, good to build it with the GitHub Actions workflow, container instance running for you, and there is or a app service running for you. Everything is running through GitHub Actions, and the code is in GitHub. So start with the flow where everything is set, and you're pushing the code every time, and it is getting deployed onto Azure, and you are ready with the code, and you're seeing the actual running code. So that is the way you can complete the project. Otherwise, you'll be doing it in the locally, and you try to do it on Azure, and it might not work, and all those things. And if you're not set with the process, then it will be a difficult one, right? So this is a simple code which is there for building GitHub Actions. If you want to understand each and everything, uh, there is session which I did, so it is already there. So all you need to do is to go through that difficult section, so that you can run it. All I'm doing is very simple: taking the code, building the Docker, pushing it to the Kubernetes. That's all. There is a command to push it. So deploy, it's pushing it to the K8. So when you do that, this is how it will look. And this is the Kubernetes. Where is my Kubernetes? Let me show you Kubernetes. So if I go into my services and ingress, because the code is built on top of the service, so I've built it on the service of the, I've created a service for it. So if I go to this IP address, this is how my code will look like. So basically, you can either choose this one or this one. It's a keep updating code. It keeps updating, and even if you play, it keeps updating. So if you go to this IP address and keep testing it, you can play it. So by the way, so it's kind of that kind of code unless and until I reset it. So so this is how you can build it on a Kubernetes. So net what we discuss now is how does Azure works from a resource group perspective, from rest of the other things which is there, right? Um, the Azure subscription tenants, and how does the trust happens when you initiate the command. There is a trust which gets created where the authentication runs with the Azure AD. Once it is done, it checks for the role, it checks for the limits, it checks for the finance limits and other things. When you terminate something in Azure, most importantly, go to the Azure all resources. And this is for someone who asked me a question that, how do I delete all the resources, from the system? So go to all resource, choose the resources you don't want, choose the resources here, and just delete, and it will get deleted. And the moment you delete a resource, the resource or resource group, all the resources under the resource group gets deleted. So that is how it works. So basically there is a connection between all these, a logical connection between all these things, right? So make sure we create, whenever you're creating a resource, and if you feel that you want to delete the resource for billing purpose or anything, just select and delete. So just like me, right? After doing all these sessions, right, I'll just go here and select everything and delete. So that's what I do, and I can't keep running, so it costs me, right? So that's one of the things. So given this, just make sure to delete it. We saw that, and then we understood the Azure App Service, how exactly it builds and deploys, how the code changes onto the deployment. We saw how to build a container, and then push it to the container registry, and use container registry as container instances, one of the container instances. And then we saw Kubernetes as a service, how we can go back and deploy Kubernetes as a service, right? So it's a pretty straightforward things. And also we saw a couple of Spring Boot and other things. So any questions you have around the program, around the things, I'm happy to answer. While we are uh, on the question and answer section, I want to share a couple of links so that you don't forget. One is for the future ready talent. If you're a student, please take part. This if you're joining in now, and if you're trying to understand, please go ahead and do it.
Sir, can you explain Kubernetes services again?
Sure. Let me see if I have. Uh, so I'm just trying to open the previous session which I've done. Hopefully it is still there. It's taking some time. My network is slow, is it? Anyways, so Kubernetes service is nothing but a, you know it's an orchestrator for containers. As I told you, containers are, these are individual images. You could have multiple images uh, to be used within the infrastructure, right? And to make sure that you use it with a proper orchestration, that's where Kubernetes comes in. And Kubernetes have a very interesting and um, very different kind of a structure. It is a declarative. It's not an imperative. It is a declarative language. When I say declarative, that means you have to declare what you want and just leave it at there. Kubernetes decides how to do it, and it is not. It's not about just going back and you typing out what needs to be done step by step. It's like uh, you're not going and buying stuff, right? Like buying each and everything to get it and do it here, right? So it's a very similar fashion. So that's how Kubernetes is. And from a understanding perspective, right? Since it is an orchestrator, it acts as a uh, your management of your workload as well, the infrastructure workload as well. So what it means is you are telling this is a master, these are agents which I have. There is a master, there is an agent, and then I want to make sure that I manage the infrastructure in a better way. I'm just telling the Kubernetes, this is what I want to do. This is what my infrastructure plan should look like, and you go and execute it, and it does execute it. And as a user, you provide the YAML file, which I showed you, which was part of my demo as well. Which one? This one, right? So if you go here, this is the YAML structure. This is the YAML file. So you're telling this is what I want. I want this as a
YAML
container.
file works like Azure template, sir.
It's
On
not a
template.
template. It's not an ARM template. It is basically a YAML file with Kubernetes understandable controllers and other things. So this is controllers and other things. These are deep dive sessions. So uh, I don't want to go very deep into it. But you as a user, you provide this template. Okay. So you need to create this template. Okay, so how to create this? uh, there is a way to do it, because you need to understand different deployments, different controllers of it. But that is a different question. But here, as a user, you are defining it and submitting to the API server, and API server takes in that and uses the schedulers and control managers to plan it. Exit is the database, it's the memory database, which is having the details of the complete cluster. So it is making sure that all the details which is required for scheduler to plan, for control manager to take a look at it, it is all available here. And then in agent nodes, there is a binary which is running something called as kubelet, and this binary is taking care of running the pods and other things which is there. So what is a pod? Pod can be a single container or a multiple container. So in Kubernetes, everything is pod. Everything, the smallest unit is pod. Within the pod, they can have multiple containers or a single container based on your architecture. So this is kubelet is making sure it is reporting back all the details. It is the heartbeat, right? It is basically reporting back what is happening in the agent node, what is the space left, what it is doing, and other things. So that's how it runs. So scheduler schedules it, and it runs on specific things. So you're not really worried about where your code is running, how it is running, what it is doing. All you are worried about is taking your desired state. You are just telling this is my desired state, and it takes the desired state and makes sure it maintains the desired state. So that is the role of Kubernetes. It uses containers. So since containers as a single one, single endpoint, can be used with various obviously application gateways and other things to handle the URL traffic and other things. But for major projects, major microservices, you package it in a different way. So this is how Kubernetes helps you to do that. For that, there are different things, as I told you: pods, namespaces, deployments. There is storage. There are other things like role-based access, config maps, and secrets. All these things we have discussed in that video, as 1.5 hours of deep dive sessions which we have done. So you can go back and take a look at it in my GitHub repo. The video is also available. All the discussion is available out there. there is a question. It was a soft delete in my case. Maybe that's why it keeps me costing after. There is no cost soft delete. Maybe you need to check with somebody like with the. There is a question answer forum. Just check why it is getting charged, because there is no soft delete, because you will go back and delete and it gets deleted. um, I don't know how do you do a soft delete, or is it something which you spin up a VM and you shut it down or something like that, or something which you did. Say serverless, you opened a serverless and your serverless is running and somebody is hitting the serverless application and it is still charging you or something. So the only difference between app service and serverless functions is that serverless function, as I told you, it is a consumption-based plan. So basically, as long as it is consumed, it is getting it is getting used. I mean, you have been built. Uh, App service, you are choosing the infrastructure you want. Say, for example, you are telling, I want Linux box, I want this kind of a these are the my specifications of the Linux box. I mean, like, I want this is the hardware I want to these are the compute power I want to run this application. And you're also mentioning this is the language I'm going to use. If you're using the code, or if you're using containers, it's not required. If you're using the code, this is what you require. So app service is more of you controlling the infrastructure. Serverless, you're not really worried about the scalability, the security, the reliability and all those stuff. You're only building the code, packaging it, pushing it into the serverless platform, and you're just making sure that people are using your URL. That's it. So and rest of the things is taken care by the cloud service provider, and you have been built based on consumption. That means as long as somebody is hitting your service, and you are being built only for that service, which where the service was running at the time of running. So that's how it is. So one of the, I mean, there is a question like, what is the best way to start with the uh, cloud career in cloud? The best way to go about is to just to go back and complete your certifications on cloud, uh, fundamentals, and developers, and or you want to take up the administration and probably get into DevOps and other things which is there. So you can pick and choose based on the role, but very important, first step is to get the fundamentals certification. And once you have the fundamental certification, you can choose based on your role which you want to choose in the career. You can take those roles and execute it. Any other questions we have? Yes, Simon. uh, Simpson, you were unmuting. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. So you can go through all of this things which I've discussed in my GitHub repo. There is code, there is videos, there is learning materials, everything added in these folders. And there is obviously the other one as well, which I shared you. Please go through that as well. That's something which is very important. If you're a student, make sure that you are taking part in the future ready program. Future ready program also comes with a lot of offers as well. So if you're part of the program, there is bunch of offers which is out there from GitHub team, from EY team, and various other things. So if you're part of that, please make sure you uh, make use of those offers as well. So that's something which I just wanted to talk about. And so that's it. So if any questions, you can unmute and ask. Otherwise, Rashmita, you can take this take handle from me, and probably you can talk about the check-in program which we have.
Sure, Vivek. Let's just wait for another 2-3 minutes in case we have
Okay, there is
questions.
a question. There is a question there. Will we get Microsoft certification discounts? Yes, there is discount. There is a program called as 30 days to learn. 30 days to learn, and you get free certification vouchers. Obviously, 30, I mean, let me share that link. Just give me a virtual training days is one of the way. Yes, 30 days to learn, but not everyone will be part of the virtual training. So 30 days to learn gives you that access where it gives you 50% off. But the most interesting part is Azure Developer League, right? So there is Azure Developer League, which gives you free certification vouchers. So interestingly, once you complete the learn modules there, you get free certification vouchers for that, and that's something which you can go back and drive it. And as I told you, right, there is this is the fundamentals also is a learning module there. So please.
Sir, about the future ready talent programs project, I want to ask you, can we upload the project about Azure App Services or using these Kubernetes or resources?
I think Vivek lost connection, so just wait for 2 minutes. I think he'll be back soon.
I'm back. I'm back. Something happened to my the laptop. It just went off. So I'm just back into my original laptop. So obviously, as I was telling, you have free certification voucher where you want to go for 50% discount. Can you hear me, Rashmita? Like,
Yes, yes, yes,
oh, yeah.
Vivek.
Yep. Any other questions people have? Just let me know.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Regarding project for internship,
Uh-huh.
so like you did, you forked some GitHub projects and tweaked something and build upon something. So can we do like that, or we have to come up with a novel idea or something like that?
So I would suggest you to build your skills on building that code on yourself. That would really help. Um, I the code which I tweaked and all those things, those were a couple of things which I have built it. So, but you should also go back and build it on your own. That will help you in terms of understanding uh, building the project. One thing, and it's not just about this career fair, but it was also about other interviews you might attend, right? So I would suggest you to build this code on your own, build a project on your own, use power of GitHub. GitHub gives you the Copilot option right now, like it gives you most of the code. As you know, when I was using the Spring Boot code, basically it was throwing me the completion code as well. So I think you should make use of all those things, all the services which is there, and build your own project that will help you in future as well. So there is a question on should we complete all the self-learning track to start the project? No, I think there is only one track which you need to complete, but I'll confirm it to you next session. I will get the team itself, the future ready team itself will be here to answer such questions as well. Next sessions which we have, is on 16th on functions. So please do attend that session. When you attend that session, we will try and get the future ready talent team itself, to answer all these questions related to the specific things. So from my understanding, it has to be only one track, because there is almost 7 tracks, and for all the 7 tracks we are doing sessions. So fundamentals, Azure fundamentals is one of the track there. So that is why we have a couple of sessions around it.
I've also shared the 16th November session link, so you can just go ahead and register for the event. I'm not sure, Vivek, is that would be a question or a statement by Pankaj?
Yeah, I think Pankaj, you are talking about the project section is not opening. I know, I'm not
Yes, sir.
sure.
Actually, I
Yeah,
completed all the modules, but the section is not opening, and they are showing that the section's deadline is 12th of November.
yeah, no worries. We will anyways check with them, and I'll come back to you. Just follow up with me on my LinkedIn or my Twitter handle. I will be able to reply back to you. I will check with the team and come back.
Shiva, can you just
Sure to follow.
explain what is the problem that you're facing? Can you just unmute and let us know?
If I
So
click directly the 16th November session link, it is not opening actually. So now I am copying the URL and just pasting. Let me check and come back.
Oh, okay. It should open. I mean, if you just click on that link, it should go
Yes,
to
yes.
the
Once I click copy
registration.
and paste it, it will open. Let me check.
Yeah.
Thank you.
okay, sometimes if you're internal, if you have an internal VPN thing, it might not open.
Do we have any more question?
I think no more questions, so we can.
Sure. Thank you,
Yeah.
Vivek, for the session, and thank you all for joining us today. Please feel free to do event check-in and share your feedback about today's session. It will help us to choose our topics better. Also, please visit our Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru meetup page for more upcoming session. We have an interesting session on Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 about the Microsoft Unboxing Ignite session. So please feel free to join the session. We will start from 7 to 8:30, and we will have guest speakers and our student partner program, and of course our community leader along with Vivek, who will be hosting the session. So I'm sure that would be an interesting one. Thank you all once again, and enjoy the rest of your day.